Hey guys, it's Andrew here. You probably haven't seen a video in your subscription box or wherever you get your YouTube videos from me in a long time, or ever maybe if you subscribed lately, because I have not come out with a YouTube video on my channel in I think literal years, because I'm not very good at making YouTube videos with visuals and such. I do not enjoy them. But something I do enjoy is making podcasts. And so that's why I'm proud to announce to my huge fan base that I'm going to be coming out with a podcast. It is called A Fool's Errand. It's going to be about my 2021 experience. I'm doing this whole big new project. I'm going to be documenting it week by week through the podcast. I actually made a trailer for the podcast, which you're about to hear in this video, and it is an episode of the podcast, episode 0. So if you want to hear stuff from me about my whole new project of trying to learn 12 skills in 12 months, then stick around for this trailer and maybe consider subscribing to the podcast. I will have a link in the description of where you can find the podcasts. Where you can contact the podcast. There's going to be a YouTube channel you can listen to it through, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the podcast places. So I hope you stick around and listen to this episode 0, and then our first episode, which will be coming out the first Monday of this year, and then a new episode will come out every Monday of this year. So that's going to be exciting. I guess I'll just say start now, video.
This is Andrew Norp, and welcome to A Fool's Errand, a podcast where we plan to fail, make mistakes, and learn 12 skills in 12 months. It's week 0 of month 0. It's episode 0 of The Fool's Errand. Welcome everyone to The Fool's Errand. This is not even the first episode, it's the 0th episode of the podcast, so you guys probably aren't familiar at all with what this is, so today I plan to just introduce the idea, explain what we're doing here, and introduce myself, so maybe I can entice you to sign up and subscribe to listen to future episodes of my podcast about failure. So my name is Andrew Norp. I'm a 15, soon to be 16-year-old homeschooler. You know you're young when you're like telling people that like you're almost an age. Like you don't ever hear like a 55-year-old being like, well, I'm almost 56. I mean, like, you should treat me with some more respect. But, you know, you can tell I'm basically a child when I tell you that I'm almost 16. But anyway, I'm almost 16. And I'm going to be doing this podcast about my year of 2021. This oncoming year. This episode plans to come out on the 1st of January. We'll see if that happens, but I hope it does. So this next year of 2021 is probably going to be a little crazy. If the past year has anything to say, but in my personal life, it's also going to be a little weird because I plan to do a weird project. Before I can tell you what that project is, maybe just explaining the name can enlighten you a bit about what we're talking about here. So the name of the podcast is A Fool's Errand, and A Fool's Errand, according to Googling I did, not 10 seconds ago, is that practical joke that is oftentimes done in a group setting and in a workplace environment where you give a newcomer a goal which is unachievable or a task, like something crazy. And then in trying to achieve it, it's funny and they're a failure and you get to watch them fail. And in this podcast, I am pulling that practical joke on myself. I plan to do 12 things, not just one thing, in 12 months. So I plan to spend 2021 failing a ton. I want to try to learn 12 skills in 12 months, each month devoted to learning one skill. This is crazy, and I know it's a fool's errand, but it came about because a couple months ago I started a ghost walk in my town. If you don't know what a ghost walk is, it's when you give people a tour of a historic town and tell them a bit about the history, but mostly local ghost stories and legends, like, oh, in 1880, a doctor was murdered here, and now his ghost still haunts it. Woo! That's exactly what it sounds like. But I researched a ton, I wrote stories, and by the end I had them memorized, and I performed them, and it only took me about a month, and it was really fun, really satisfying, stressful. There's a lot of failure in there, but it was interesting, and by the end of the month, I was like, whoa, you can just decide to do something, and in a month, do it. If you have no other things, since I'm homeschooled, and my parents really lax about my curriculum, I choose what I do, I could just choose to do something for a month and by the end have done something. And that's really satisfying to be like, I did that thing. It's a really fun process to learn that and just to prove to yourself that you can do things. So I thought, why not spend an entire year just doing that over and over and over again? Every month I'm going to say, by the end of this month, I want to be able to play piano. And then I just do it. I just spend every day, just slamming myself into the piano until I can play it, So I thought in the year of 2021, I will spend every month doing just that. I will learn a skill in that month or fail at learning a skill and therefore learn other skills. And by the end of 2021, hopefully I have 12 things I have achieved and I can look back on and be proud of and then bring those skills and what I learned from trying to learn those skills into future endeavors. What is it about podcasting and me burping? Like, why? Like, every time I turn on a podcast, I'm just like, I just start burping. Every time the microphone comes on. Maybe if, like, I have a problem, like, swallowing. Why do we burp? If I have, like, a problem with, like, gases in my stomach, I should just start recording a podcast. This would be a good place to warn you that I'm not going to have the highest quality audio in here. We're going to have audio from in the field, from like inside of my echoey warehouse trying to learn to play the piano. Right now I'm recording this from inside of my RV in my backyard. You can probably hear the distant lawnmowers. This podcast is not going to be a beautifully constructed audio experience. It's going to be the gritty, hard realism in tracking me learning 12 skills in 12 months. I actually originally came up with the idea just for me. I didn't even really care if anyone listened. It was just a way to express my thoughts and process what I was going through by talking about it, because that's how I process my thoughts, and also a way to keep myself accountable. Like if at the beginning of the podcast I'm like, I'm going to learn chess by the end of this month, it would be disappointing for the 4 listeners out there if I don't have chess down by the end of the month. Then I thought, hey, it would also be fun if I could actually get a following, so maybe I should put some effort into it, and I will. Just not a ton, guys, so don't expect too much out of me. I'm just going to list the months right now, tell you projects I'm planning on doing. You guys can send in questions or advice about them. I'll probably even have guests on sometimes who are experts in these things. So that's going to be really exciting, but I plan to learn in this order: chess, piano, to memorize the Constitution, to learn to dance, math, write a short film, act in a short film, edit a short film, build a building, build a D&D world, wood carving, and cooking. Each of those have like an ideal outcome, something I want to have done, an achievement, a thing I can look at and say I did that, whether that be a physical object such as a building or something I wood carved or a meal I made, or maybe just the recording of me playing the piano at the end of the month and all that type of things. And it's really a goal to work towards, so even if I fail at that goal, I'll probably learn a lot of skills in the process, learn a lot of the thing I'm trying to learn, and then I have something to shoot for. So my ideal outcomes for each of them are really important to me, and I think they're a good way to set your sights on a goal. They're less specific than goals, and they're not like, if you fail, you failed. Like, my general idea in my month of piano is to be better at piano than when I started, and it's almost inevitable that I will be at the end. But my ideal outcome is the ability to play a hymn, like a church hymn, like something you play in Sunday service by the end, and then I have something to shoot for, and then something at the end I can feel like I achieved. I did play that hymn, my family listened, they were all weeping because of its beauty, and so I'm planning on going for that with all the skills. Our next episode will be about chess, because my next month is chess. My month of January, I'm going to be going for the chess rating of 1500. That's a pretty high rating, though it's not crazy high. Right now my rating is 1100. I'll talk more in that episode about what that means and what that entails. I'm going to come out with 1 episode a week, and it's going to be talking about my last week's progress, trying to get towards that goal, my advice on how to learn that skill and how to learn skills in general, and what I'm learning and how I'm failing. So if this sounds interesting to you guys, if you want to hear me learning how to play chess or how to memorize the Constitution or the ability to do a backflip, then hit subscribe right now. And next week, Monday, you'll get to hear the first episode of A Fool's Errand and hear me, Andrew Norp, trying to learn 12 skills in 12 months. Love y'all. Thank you so much for listening to this episode 0/trailer. And I'll see you guys all next week. Bye-bye. Keep fanning.